Well, despite facing a vastly different political landscape, United States President Donald Trump has claimed a big victory in the midterms in a rambling post-election press conference that has become a mainstay of his presidency. In an often contentious, combative encounter with journalists at the White House, the president mocked those Republican candidates who didn't embrace him and lost their races, with Democrats retaking the majority in the House of Representatives, a potential roadblock in the last 2 years of his first term in office.
The President of the United States.
It was the blue wave many were expecting, and it wasn't a magnanimous President Trump after his party lost the House but made gains in the Senate.
Last night, the Republican Party defied history to expand our Senate majority while significantly beating expectations in the House for the midterm and midterm year. We did this in spite of a very dramatic fundraising disadvantage driven by Democrats' wealthy donors and special interests and very hostile media coverage, to put it mildly. The media coverage set a new record and a new standard. You report fake news, which CNN does a lot.
He got into verbal quarrels with journalists who he again railed against for unfair coverage of his successes and took no responsibility for the losses suffered by his House colleagues across the country.
A staggering number of House retirements, so it's a little tough. These are seats that could have been held pretty easily, and we had newcomers going in, and a lot of them worked very hard, but it's very difficult when you have that many retirements. We held a large number of campaign rallies with large numbers of people going to everyone. To the best of my knowledge, we didn't have a vacant or an empty seat. I'm sure you would have reported it if you spotted one, including 30 rallies in the last 60 days. And we saw the candidates that I supported achieve tremendous success last night.
But with Democrats regaining one lever of power, the leadership on both sides is talking up bipartisanship, despite likely investigations into Trump's financial history, his taxes, and possible Russian collusion emanating from the House.
In stark contrast to the GOP Congress, the Democratic Congress will be led with transparency and openness, so that the public can see what's happening and how it affects them, and that they can weigh in with the members of Congress and with the President of the United States. We will have accountability, and we will strive for bipartisanship, with fairness on all sides. We will have a responsibility to find our common ground where we can, stand our ground where we can't, but we must try.
I keep hearing about investigations, fatigue. Like almost from the time I announced I was going to run, they've been giving us this investigation fatigue. It's been a long time. They got nothing, zero. You know why? Because there is nothing. But they can play that game, but we can play it better, because we have a thing called the United States Senate, and a lot of very questionable things were done between leaks of classified information and many other elements that should not have taken place. And all you're going to do is end up in back and forth and back and forth, and 2 years is going to go up, and we won't have done a thing.
Key incumbent losses in Senate races in Missouri, North Dakota, and Indiana, rural states where President Trump remains popular and appear unable to shift Republican holds on Senate seats in Texas and Arizona. In Florida, the Senate race remains too close to call, with Democrat incumbent Bill Nelson calling for a recount. Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.